All right, welcome to the first video in my Dr. Erin Explores Elite Dangerous series, I guess. The idea behind these videos is simply to play Elite Dangerous and talk a little bit about what we are finding, what we're exploring, and then also mostly just have this be relaxing videos, honestly. So if you want to put these on in the background while you work, or possibly while you're sleeping, although there are bursts of noise as you just heard, hopefully you'll enjoy it. So for those of you not familiar with Elite Dangerous, I'll kind of use this video to explain some things, and future videos won't have as much explanation. But it's a sort of open world space exploration video game that you can play many different ways. The way I play Elite Dangerous could be very different from the way other people play Elite Dangerous. And so what's fun about that is you can kind of decide to do what you want in the game. For me, I focus mostly on planetary exploration and discovery, as well as exobiology, which is trying to find biological samples on other planets. What's cool about this game is it is a one-to-one model of our Milky Way galaxy, so it's very big. There's a lot to still be discovered and explored, and indeed I discover new star systems, I discover new planets, I discover new biology all the time. So I'm recording this in June right now. The Nomad has just been announced, which is a new vehicle for exploration. I wanted to get a few videos in before that comes out, but by the time you're watching this, the Nomad has probably already been released, but I'm very excited for it. And if you've never played Elite Dangerous, you're gonna maybe see why through these videos. But typically when we come to a star system, we scan it. You can see in the top right how many bodies there are to be scanned. I have a sort of little spectrograph that helps me find the planets. And then every scan tells me more information about those. So as you look at it, you can see in the top right features. This has a biological sample on it. And then I have some add-ons that will pop up throughout the game that will help me remember where to go or log information for me and send information back to the servers and other players. The lines that pop up as we are scanning are sort of orbital planes. So it's usually a good place to look to begin with, but just because there are established orbital planes doesn't mean that the planetary systems will be on it. And you can see as I discover stuff, it fills in more orbital planes. So paths that the planetary systems are marking out as they orbit that particular star or set of stars.
System scan complete.
So we're gonna try to go look at those biologicals, try to figure out which planets those are, or remember which planets those are on, see how far away they are. And you can see first discovered, first mapped, and first footfall. So those are the first people to step on it. I've done quite a number of first footfalls, which is always exciting for me. And some first discovered, but that's pretty rare because I haven't gone way, way out into the black yet. Now, I would say I'm probably about a C rank player, if you want to put it in those terms. I am not an elite level of explorer or exobiologist, but I'm working towards that, and I hope we can have fun figuring that out together. So there's obviously going to be things that aren't as efficient as some people might have. There might be add-ons that some people have that you're like, why doesn't she have that? That's so easy. If you have friendly suggestions, please feel free to leave them below, but just remember to be kind. We all play this in our own way, and I'm really excited to take you on the journey of, becoming more of an expert in these, especially once the Nomad comes out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And I got distracted, and we fly right past the planet, which happens not often, but more than I'd like. Now I'm on the darker side of the planet, which isn't ideal, but we can make it work. So I want to get up close to this planet, and then I can use a surface scanner that will help map out where the potential biological samples are, so I can go and try to find them. So you can see in the bottom right, there's an efficiency target. That's about how many probes it should take to scan this planet. I have my own method for doing these. You need to get it to 90%, and then it will autofill in the rest. Thankfully, you don't have to completely cover the planet.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan
And there we go. We have bacteria, which doesn't pay out a lot, but I also find that's why people ignore it. So sometimes I will try to find it. If it's difficult to find, which it really can be, especially looking from your ship, I will give up on it. Completionists, avert your eyes.
orbital flight engaged.
Again, you can really see the size and scale that this game plays with. And I'm still going, I guess, ludicrous speeds. Not quite faster than the speed of light, but this is my super cruise drive, which makes it not unreasonable to travel between planets. What I'm flying in is the Diamondback Explorer, and so I will approach the planet surface. I got a pretty good field of view on this, so I can kind of skim the surface and try to see if I can see any bacteria. They show up as little flat, round patches on the surface. Alright, that looks like some right there. So now we're out on foot. I have a exobiology device that I'm clearing the previous samples, and it's got a scanner on it, which will help target it. So that was indeed a piece of bacteria. Being able to get out on foot in this game is from the Odyssey DLC. So if you played Elite Dangerous way back in the day and you're like, what is this magic? That's where it came from. This honestly was a literal game changer for me. I did pick it up, gosh, probably over 10 years ago. And then the Odyssey DLC came out and I was like, that is the space game I wanted. Not just flying around and exploring star systems, but being able to get out and find stuff. So now we need to travel a certain distance. You can see in the bottom right, I need to get 3 samples. And each sample has to be a certain distance apart for biological diversity. And if there's multiple biological types on a planet, this only has one, you have to do the same one 3 times before you switch to another type of biological sample. Some people use add-ons to triangulate known location of biological samples, but I consciously don't use those because I like the exploration puzzle aspect of it. But I do like my add-on that tells me how far away I am from my previous sample, because trying to guess that and not being able to scan from your ship makes it very difficult. So the Nomad, as I mentioned, is coming out in a couple weeks, and that basically is a small little flyer you can deploy from a bigger ship that will do essentially what I'm doing right now, but you can use that biological scanner from your cockpit, which is like unbelievable. And it's much, much smaller because it's a ship-launched vehicle, an SLV, so it has a much smaller footprint, so it's much easier to land. This planet's pretty good because it's such a, vast, flat surfaces, but there are some biological places that are just impossible to land on, and I've literally just had to walk away because I can't land a ship there. So I'm very excited for the Nomad. Now, I usually won't abandon a biological if I have a sample of it already, because I know what it looks like. I've been able to find it. That I will do. Where I'll abandon is if I've spent ages flying around and I literally can't see anything. Then I'm like, nah, forget this. So let's get our last sample and then we'll get out of here. Like I said, I find this game very relaxing to play, and so I thought sharing that relaxing aspect with people might be fun.
Landing gear retracted.
So now we're going to go to the next jump that we have planned out. So I've planned out a route in the galaxy map, and my engine can only jump a certain distance. So I need to, so it plots out a series of star systems to go to. And I'm headed to the next one and explore along the way. A lot of it is pretty aimless, but like in a really fun way, with the goal of discovering things. Now, when I say jump, like I engaged Super Cruise, which is an engine that effectively can go faster than the speed of light, but it's an engine for going around star systems. It's kind of like warp drive. And then when I'm jumping between star systems, it's kind of like the jump drive in Battlestar Galactica. It's called the frame shift drive. You're kind of scritching up space, the fabric of space beneath you, to travel to the next star system. These two different types of travel are similar to like Mass Effect. Mass Effect will let you zip around star systems faster than light, but then you have to use the mass relays to jump between star systems. But in this case, you have to
Ready to engage.
manually go between
3, 2,
between each individual targets. So that's why I think of it as like scritching up fabric beneath you, a frame shift drive. You have the frame of space-time, and you're shifting that beneath you. And so I get to a system, I scan it, and so I have 2 out of the 25 bodies here I need to scan. And of course there's some on the other side of the star, so I got to go over to that side, but I'll do what I can here first. And that sort of spectrum that I'm shifting through on the bottom is the different types of bodies. So whether they are high metal content or icy, most of these are all fairly solid. On the right-hand side of the spectrum is where the gas giants live. So typically if you can find one of those, which you can see on the map right now, there's going to be a lot of small bodies around them. Not all of them are landable, but the ones with geological or biological features are landable. So I'll typically try to find the gas giants, and then once I find that, I'll shift down to the rocky section and scan around there. So those little blips that are coming up that aren't registering in the sort of rocky body section, those are on the far left side. Those are usually human objects. So ships or communication signals, what have you. I don't fuss with those. I'm here to find planets. So now I need to go to the other side of the star.
Feels epic complete.
Again, it's always good to just check the established orbital plane, but that doesn't necessarily mean that a system will be on it. And sure enough, there's all my little rocky objects that are orbiting the gas giant.
System scan complete.
So I'm going to have a look at the system and kind of see what it looks like. This is just kind of fun for me, honestly. And I've had some add-ons in the past that I can sort of have the map build on my second monitor. But I haven't found an add-on that I really like for it yet, so I'm still looking. So let's go have a look at this planet. So I don't have an SCO drive on this, which is, I think, Super Cruise Overcharge drive. Those are fairly new and I haven't looked into it much. In the universe, in this game story lore, these are experimental drives that were developed based on technology from the alien species that were sort of fighting against the Thargoids. And we were able to get enough technology. I don't know all the details, but they developed an experimental super cruise drive for when you're in a star system, because this one's not that far away, but you can see how long it's taking me to get there. Some exploring the star system can take a really, really long time. So I've seen the Super Cruise Overdrive in action, the SCO drive. I just haven't added to this yet because of the Nomad coming out. As I've jumped back into the game, I was like, well, I could figure out how to put that on this ship, or I could wait because I'm gonna switch ships when the Nomad comes out, because this ship, my Diamondback Explorer, doesn't have a vehicle bay that I would need for the Nomad, but I have the Caspian Explorer, which is also a relatively new ship that looks like a Star Trek ship, so let's be honest, of course I got it. But it's huge. It's a large ship, like impossible to land. But it can house the Nomad, so I think once that comes out, then I'll switch back to my Caspian Explorer and outfit that with the Nomad, and then mostly use that. So I'll wait and get the SCO drive when I switch back to the Caspian. But in the meantime, we can use the travel time to planets to relax.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Alright, so this was that like nested moon, so a moon around a moon. You can see this moon is around that gas giant. And So I get extra exploration money for mapping interesting objects. Which is what we're doing here.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
So let's head, now that we did that, we'll go to our next star system.
Frameshift drive charging.
I realize this may be boring for some people. Again, if you just want to put this on as background noise, that's great. I find it very relaxing and fun, so that's why I like playing this way.
4, 3, 2.
So you can play on an open server. I tend to play on a solo server, so there are NPCs and stuff, but there's no players to interact with, because if people have followed my stuff for a while, you'll know I'm not a big MMO person. I don't like strangers in my video games. But that's not to say there aren't NPCs here that can mess with you. And I'll tell that story in a second once we get through scanning this. Yeah, I love when it's right on the edge and not behind a star. So if you've never played Elite Dangerous before and this is making you want to get into it, the game does have a pretty high learning curve, but the community is awesome. And there's tons of great tutorials and explanations out there that I was able to sort of take a long weekend, I think years ago when I decided I was really going to commit to it. I just spent my entire holiday season at the end of the year figuring out the game and getting to a point that I felt comfortable with it. So it just takes a little bit of effort, but once you get there, I think it's worth it. All right, so we got some biologicals on that one. Now that one just had geologicals signatures. I don't necessarily go for those. You just kind of scan them and add to a database. And it is interesting in its own right, but for me, I hate to say it, but I don't get a lot of money for those. If they are on a system with biologicals, I might try to find them. If I see them, I will scan them. But otherwise, I don't tend to target it specifically. But I love this trinary star system we're in right now. Now I've got a really good fuel scoop. This allows you to basically scoop the radiative gases off of the star to turn into fuel, which is great for exploring because that means I don't have to refuel at stars at stations, and it lets me kind of travel for a long time without having to stop anywhere. All right, so let's get there and check this out. I'm gonna step away from the mic for a little bit. I need to get up, stretch, get a glass of water, send that email you've been meaning to send, and I'll be back in a little bit.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Alright, let's head to the next system. Now, as this is sort of a new series for me, please feel free to leave feedback on if I'm talking too much, too little, if you like the quiet background, or if you want more narration. I'm pre-recording a few of these, so that feedback probably won't get implemented for a few videos, but, please feel free to leave kind suggestions.
Frameshift drive charging.
Alright, not much of interest here, so we will head to the next one. Just curious to see what's already here. Yeah, see, I really do want an add-on where I can kind of just see what's in a system if it's already been mapped. There's a non-zero chance I've been here before too, but I forgot to mention where I'm headed. I'm headed back to my home base of Leonid. So I'm just gonna go there. The squadron I'm in, Canonn, which is an exploration squadron, has a base in Leonid, so that's where I'm going. And taking my own sweet time.
Frameshift drive charging.
I think there's a tourist ship in this section. That was one of the ways I made money at the beginning of the game, was taking tourism jobs and shuttling people around to sightseeing in star systems. It was pretty fun. I got to see some cool stuff, but certainly, it can be long because they want to see unique things, so you got to go far away or within a system. The object of interest is really far away from the star, so it can take a while. But it's a fun way to make some money.
System scan complete.
Just a simple trinary star system. It looks like those two red giants are orbiting each other, and then they are orbiting... Is that a M-class star?
Frameshift drive charging.
Oh, I should also mention I do have this on smaller jumps for my mapping. My jump range is a little bit higher than this. I think it's in the 30s. But I want to be able to visit lots of systems. All right, we got a biological sample there. There's another tourism cruise ship here. Nice. Binary planetary system. Alright, doesn't look like there's... I just need one more. Must be off the orbital plane. There we go.
System scan complete. Fuel snooping. Fuel snooping complete.
What's cool is you can kind of notice this effect, but the game does gravity mechanics really well. So when you're sort of escaping the gravity well of a star, you'll see your speed, your maximum speed start to change or adjust. Or if you fly past a star or a planet, you'll see that affect how fast you're moving, which is pretty cool. There's a famous sort of technique in this game called the 7-second rule. You can see those 7 seconds I'm maintaining here. That's sort of a good gauge for how fast you can approach something, because it's going to adjust as you approach this. If it says it's going to be 6 seconds to arrival or 5, then you're probably going too fast. You're not going to be able to slow down enough. So the game has some internal mechanics that'll adjust as you go. Kind of use that as a good gauge. I tend to be a little more conservative than 7 seconds. I usually aim for about 9 or 10 because it's easy to fly past planets sometimes if you're not paying attention, and I get easily distracted. No, 88%. Ah, that's okay. I'm still under my efficiency target. Oh no, I'm not. This one will throw me over.
Surface scan complete.
Yeah, I don't really feel like getting bacteria. Again, the payout's not great. It can be hard to find. Let's just keep going. Again, sorry, completionists. Maybe when the Nomad's here, it'll be different. Sorry. I was just checking something on my other monitor.
System scan complete.
Hey, I think that's an engineer I just unlocked. I don't do a lot of engineering. I've done some with Felicity Farseer for my frameshift drive upgrades, but oh, that's a cool system. But yeah, I was getting some materials needed to unlock another engineer, and I got nabbed because they were really high quality and rare cargo. And I got nabbed by an NPC, and I was like distracted in scanning a planet or scanning a system. And they pulled me out of Super Cruise and they stole all my cargo, including my Hutton orbital mug. And I'm like still angry about it. So for those of you not familiar, there's a star system. I think it's just called the Hutton system. But once you're in it, you can go to the Hutton orbital station, which is like, I forget how far away, but it takes about 2 hours, if I remember, to go from the central star for where you pop out like here to just go in Super Cruise, and there's no way to shortcut it. I guess now with the SCO drive maybe you can, but I think that uses fuel and is kind of unstable. So you just have to like put on Super Cruise assist and like just sit or walk away. But when you get there, you can get a souvenir mug, and I was very proud of mine. So much so that when I got it, I bought an actual Hutton orbital replica mug for myself. And then it got stolen like a couple weeks ago, and I'm still really, really angry about it. I'll go back to Hutton orbital at some point. Maybe we'll do like a Pomodoro, like sit back and get some work done while I travel to Hutton orbital again. But yep, still mad. Still not over it. Thankfully, the physical mug that I have was not stolen, so I suppose I can tell myself that I still have that, but it's not the same. Let's get to the other side and scan the planets that were on the other side of the star. I try to get far enough away to reduce the heat from the star on my ship.
System scan complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it. Go to the next one. Kind of getting itchy to get back. So right now these are gonna live on my main channel. I'll see if it's worth doing a separate channel just for Elite Dangerous stuff, but you know, if these are good, great. I'm still doing Science of Sci-Fi videos from time to time. I'm working on a Project Hail Mary one right now for the astrophysics of Project Hail Mary. But those take a lot of time. And so, yeah, we'll see. So I do have a thing on my second monitor that's telling me kind of the likely biologicals and if they're worth it. Oh my god, there's 5 there. Okay. Ugh. But you don't know for sure unless you go and actually scan the planet.
System scan complete.
All right. Oh gosh, these are going to be far away. Oh, these are so far away. Now this is where I wish I had an SCO drive. I think we're about to get some work done. Oh, do I feel like going? Oh my gosh, that's so far away. So this is that 377,000 light seconds under the name. It's that 3rd star I need to get to. It's so far. That's so far.
Fuel snipping.
Oh, but they had so many biologicals. Oh, I'm so tempted. Forget it. Let's just go. So I'm putting on Super Cruise Assist here. Usually don't when I'm going to planets because it will put me into orbit if I'm not paying attention, and so I'm not far enough away to do that surface scanning. But for something this freaking far away, like, just put on Super Cruise Assist, because it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be many minutes. So while we travel here, let's maybe do a little Pomodoro section. I will set a timer, and if you have something you've been putting off doing, if it's cleaning, if it's a little work assignment, or an email you need to send, or a text you need to reply to, let's take this time and do that. I will be back in 10 minutes, or when I arrive at this planet, whichever happens first. All right, we'll see you in 10. All right, that was about 10 minutes. Good job, team. I realized some of you may not have heard the term Pomodoro before. All that is sort of a workflow of like concentrating on something for a short period of time, usually 20 minutes, and then take like a 5 or 10 minute break and then get back to it for 20 minutes and then take a short break. That works really well for me to be able to kind of focus on things in short spurts, knowing that like if I just get through 20 minutes, then I can take a break and do whatever floated into my mind during that time. So with long trips like this, maybe that's useful for you. It looks like we still have a few minutes to get there, so I'll sit back. I suppose I can talk a little bit about kind of what my background is. I guess if people came to this before not knowing who I am and came to this video because of Elite Dangerous, hi, I'm Erin. You've been with me for about an hour. You're very patient. My background is in astrophysics. I have a PhD in general relativity and gravitational waves. But for the last almost decade now, I've been working in television as a science advisor for a number of shows and films. In 2019, I was hired to be the science advisor for the Star Trek franchise. So that started with season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, and then pretty much every single season and show since then. The 4th season of Strange New Worlds is coming out this summer. Hopefully you're seeing this before then, but there's a chance that you might not be, because I have a very busy summer and I'm trying to just record these to build a little bit of a backlog, to be perfectly honest. But if the new season is out, go check it out. And of course there's fun science stuff in this game that I'm happy to talk about. If people have questions, things you want to know, throw them in the comments, or things you'd like me to focus on in the game, answer questions about it. Again, part of this for me is just being able to kind of turn my brain off a little bit, enjoy being in space. Alright, we still have a couple minutes to get to this planet, so take a beat, stand up, stretch, grab some water, and I will come back on mic once we get to this planet. I'm actually kind of excited to be this far out. Look like these were all orbiting another star out here, so hopefully they should have some light. Looks like they should. Fingers crossed. And I'll be back in a couple minutes. Alright, so we are getting close, so I deactivated the assist so I can manually fly the rest of the way. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Alright, let's see what we got.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface
Ooh,
scan
we were
complete.
close on that one. So this is the one that has 5. And you can see I'm filtering through the different types of biologicals here to try to figure out where I want to land. Some of them overlap, some don't, but get a good guess. Since I zip around in my ship, it's not too bad. The highlighted blue regions are estimates of where those biologicals are. I think I already said that, but anyway, just a reminder. So I know some people who like zip into planet surfaces. You can see I'm kind of a more cautious flyer, and I'm fine with that. So that mass lock that happens in the bottom right, that's basically where I've dropped out of supercruise, so now I'm flying normally. And if I want to get back into supercruise, I need to get far enough away from the gravity well. Which then the mass lock will turn off. So it's basically, I'm too deep in the gravity well to engage my supercruise drive. Not only am I trying to find biologicals, but I'm also trying to find places I can land. Yeah, none are coming up. I'm trying to see if some of those wonky rocks are actually biological, because there's 5 on this planet. Usually a good tip is to change the terrain, as biologicals kind of are terrain based if you're looking for them. This is not looking promising, but we spent a long time getting here, so we'll give it a good try. So I'm taking that SRV out, which is sort of a vehicle I can use to explore the surface. It's got that little radar in the front of it that can help me find things. Again, it's not like that scanner that we're supposed to get with the Nomad, but this kind of helps triangulate some stuff. It's not always easy, though. Oh, and if you have seen me play Mass Effect and you think I was bad at driving the Mako around, just you wait. So I'm seeing these sort of lines popping up on the radar. Look like they're far in the distance. As you get closer, they sort of fill in as full lines. But they're line of sight based, so because I'm going over all these rocks, they're sort of coming and going. Gosh, this is not looking promising. And it's getting dark here, which makes it even harder. I mean, I don't want to say I'm gonna give up, but this sucks. So I can use my turret here to sort of scan, and it'll highlight if something pops up in that reticule. Again, because we need to find 3, and I can't even find 1. I think we're starting to reach a desperation point. This keeps saying there's something on my radar out here. That's far away, but at least if I can tell something is there, my motivation will stay.
Ship dismissed.
So I'm basically sending my ship away so I can recall it to where I am, so I don't have to drive all the way back to the ship.
Ship recalled.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. It is fun to watch the ship come in, though. There's my baby. Alright, well, that was a fun adventure. Said it before, I'll say it again. I can't wait for the Nomad. I can't wait for the Nomad. So I'm going to go poke around some other terrain just to see.
Landing gear retracted.
Yeah, forget this.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Oh. Dang. I hate it when I do that. It takes so long now. I was trying to get higher up into orbit so I could go to a different region, but I was too shallow and dropped back down too fast.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Oh, I did it again. Oh, this planet and I are not getting along. It's really a fine needle to thread to do this sort of popping out of the orbit, or popping out of, yeah, popping it into orbit, I guess, and then dropping back down to try to find biologicals in a different section. So, all that said, let's go try another one. We came all this way out here. I don't want to just abandon this entire system. All right. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Ooh, it's like a... Ooh, combat. Nope. We don't like that. Just trying to scan, maybe. So if I have a wake scanner, so I can scan those, like, FSD wakes. Those are the frame shift drives, so if people jump out of the system, but they left already. And I can use that to exchange for engineers to upgrade my frame shift drive. So I'm kind of just opportunistic with those. I don't necessarily seek them out. But yeah, if I get a chance, I do have a wake scanner on this ship. But that's not why we're here.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
All right. Let's go have a look.
Orbital flight engaged. Landing gear deployed.
Okay, this feels way better already. This feels so much better. This is what I like to see. Sometimes that add-on doesn't quite update fast enough, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, nailed it. And I can always double check with the scanner too. If it shows up green, it's far enough away. If it's blue, it's not far enough, or it won't even let me scan it, so. All right, last one. Let's do this. I'm sure you all are watching this, and the Nomad's been out, and you're like, oh, that poor girl. Because honestly, like, landing it too is another big thing. This is a pretty decent ship in terms of being able to land on surfaces, but you can see sometimes trying to find a good spot can be a little finicky. There they are. Try to see if there's a closer one between those two patches. I love the effects of the breathing and fog on my shield. We did it! We did it! After nearly an hour of flying out to this star and scanning a planet and finding nothing, even though it supposedly had 5, going to this other one. We did it, team. All right, I think we're gonna call it here. Again, it'd be different if I had really seen a lot of bacteria, but I haven't. There's like all these guardian things. I've never really looked into it. Again, I'm so afraid of like combat in this game. But here's a good station. The Delta Squadron runs it, which I've come across them before. Is fine. You can see I'm cordial with them. So we're gonna go there and dock and probably call it here. So while we're heading there, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this. I kind of like feeling like I have company while I play. And again, I really, really love Elite Dangerous, and I think some of the people who followed me from Star Trek or other sci-fi stuff might enjoy seeing this game too. You can play vicariously through me, again, because the learning curve is so high, or maybe watching me play this will help inspire you. I want to thank the people that help me play Elite Dangerous. I am a patron of Inara and Spanch, both those websites. I haven't used Spanch in this round for that. Trying to plot your routes is what it's good for if you're looking for specific things. But I'll use it in future games. Both very helpful, both integrate with the various plugins I have. Again, if you see me playing and you're like, oh, she should probably know about this, or I wonder if she knows about this, feel free to leave that in the comments. I may have seen it. Again, it depends on my style of gameplay, but I'm always happy to try new things. I'm sure we'll try some different plugins. Again, I feel like the Nomad coming out in a couple weeks is going to be a game changer, so I might change up the way I play based on that. But overall, yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. And again, if you haven't seen this game before, I will continue recording through me landing at this station, because that's fun. So I want to wait until I get a certain distance. It's a pretty space station. So I got to get between, I think, 7.5 kilometers before I can request docking. So you can see that on the far right. I'm just watching that. And there we go.
Access granted. Prep for arrival on landing pad 27. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
I also have an auto dock. That was a high priority purchase for me when I started this game. I hate manually docking in space stations. I can do it, I don't like to do it. So now I can sit back, enjoy the music, and let my ship carry me into the station. Alright. With that, thanks again, and happy exploring, Commanders.